Yes, ma'am. We are live. When it is 6, I will start. 1 minute left. Yeah, already 22 participants are waiting. Yes, it is 6. I'm starting. We all will be visible for half a minute to everyone.
Okay, I'm starting.
Dr. Smiley, you can start.
Yes. A very pleasant good evening to everyone. It gives me great joy to warmly welcome you all to day 4 of our 6-day international online faculty development program on ethics in higher education, jointly organized by the Department of Management, St. Peter's Institute of Higher Education and Research, in collaboration with Globe Ethics South Asia. Over the past 3 days, we have journeyed through insightful sessions that enriched our perspectives on ethics and higher education. Today, as we step into the 4th day, we continue to strengthen this academic dialogue with a very significant theme: ethics in research and innovation. It is my privilege to introduce our distinguished resource person for today's session, Dr. Dania, Assistant Professor of Law at Gujarat National Law University and head of the GNLU Center for Healthcare, Ethics, Legal Advocacy, and Policy Research. With over 9 years of academic and research experience, Dr. Dania has established herself as a respected scholar in the fields of health law, legal ethics, and public policy. She holds a PhD in law with a strong grounding in empirical research and has actively contributed to national and international projects focused on social justice, public health, and legal reforms. Her session today will shed light on critical aspects of ethics in research and innovation. Dr. Dania has contributed her expertise to various national and global organizations, including the Ministry of Education, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the World Health Organization, and the National Commission for Women Beyond Research. She has also played an instrumental role in curriculum development, legal reforms, and policy advocacy. We are indeed honored to have Dr. Dania with us today. With a blend of academic rigor and practical insights, we look forward to an engaging and thought provoking session that will deepen our understanding of ethical research and strengthen our commitment to global academic integrity. Welcome you, ma'am, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, as per my understanding, whatever discussion I had with ma'am, I understand that it's a mixed participants, like you have participants from various disciplines, right?
Yes.
So, good evening, everyone, and big thanks to the organizers for this invitation and also choosing this as one of the topic for discussion in your international faculty development program. So, with your permission, I'll start with the session. So, the discussion is planned this way. So, we'll be looking at the core ethical principles in research and innovation involving human participants. We'll also look at the ethical principles in technological research and ethical concerns in research, technology, and innovation. I'll also be discussing about the ethical aspects in publication as well, and also that is how the whole thing is planned. The whole discussion is planned. So now, ma'am, can the participants unmute and speak? Can I ask, make it little interactive, or they won't be able to speak?
Ma'am, they'll be answering through you for your questions through chat box, ma'am.
Okay.
Do you want us?
Okay, ma'am. No problem. So the first question itself is why ethics in research matters. If you have any points to tell me, you can just start putting it in your chat box. Why do we like even discuss about ethics? Why does it matter? I'm looking at the chat. Okay, so someone wrote that we need to be honest in doing research. Okay, good. Then any other participant? Okay, so I'll take it forward because you're taking time. We don't have that much of time also. So the first thing is that to like when we talk about research, because it's a mixed group, I'll have to like maybe touch upon various types of research. So when there is a research which involves human participants, basically when I'm telling this, we are referring to the clinical research or the biomedical research where the human participants are involved. So there, one issue that we came across is the dignity of the participant. So now I'm also a law faculty. I'm a faculty working with a law school. So dignity of an individual is a fundamental right as per the constitution. So this is a right which is recognized under Article 21, which is about right to life and personal liberty. So now dignified life becomes part of it, because of which so many other rights which are like capable of taking away your right to life is also recognized to be part of Article 21 in a later stage. So now the welfare of the participants and dignity and other rights of the participants plays a very important role when we talk about the research where human participations are involved. So now if anything goes wrong that will affect the rights of the participants, maybe it may lead to or it will affect the life also of the participant. So now that becomes very important. Then moving forward ensures credibility and trust in the science and society. So once you're doing ethical practice, so now people and the society will develop the kind of faith in the research as well. So now we will be elaborating and discussing all this in the later part also. And it prevents harm, exploitation, and misuse of the innovation. So again, it is again related to the dignity, rights, and protection of rights and welfare of the participants. So now when we are following ethics in the research, so we'll take utmost care to prevent any kind of harm to the participants. So there are certain ethical principles that we will be following while conducting such kind of research, and we will not try to exploit our population or our participants, especially when some vulnerable groups are involved in the research, and also we will not misuse the innovation whatever we arrived at later. And it promotes equity, justice, and social responsibility, which is again one of the basic feature or the basic part of our constitution. So these are the key features or key principles of our constitution. So the research also, like we should provide for equitable research, and there has to be justice or distributive justice is another principle that we will be discussing, and also social responsibility is something which like I need to highlight here. So these are all the main points which becomes like very important while conducting the research. That's why ethics matters while we are doing the research. So now the core ethical principles in research and innovation involving the human participants. Can anyone tell me what are those principles? Have you ever came across the ICMR guideline on the research, or if you are not working with medical research or pharmaceutical research, any other kind of research also, you are supposed to follow certain basic principles. Can anyone tell me what are those principles? You might have had some discussion on the previous sessions as well. Legal and professional Responsibility is something someone is telling. Respect of the participant dignity is another person saying. Yes, very good. Anything else that you can think of? Clarity. Clarity is required for doing the research. But that is not a principle that we'll be following, right? Plagiarism, okay. If it is an academic research or a publication is involved, even if it is a project, plagiarism is something which we should keep in mind. You cannot plagiarize or like copy paste things from other researchers. Then humanity, sourcing, okay. Okay. So let us discuss the principles one by one. So the first one is principle of professional competence. So this is as per the ICMR guideline on when the research is involving the human participants. So the person who is initiating the research should have, or every person who is involved in the research. So we all know that when we talk about research, if it is a project, so here we are basically talking about project. Even if it is academic research, maybe you're working on a what is a paper where the research involves human participation in a in a scientific research. It's not, we are not talking about a social science research. So in such case, in both the cases, and actually, so the people who are involved in a research, that means the author, the co-author, or if it is a project, the principal investigator, the co-investigators, the RAs, research associates, or any other person for that matter who is involved in the research should have the competence to do the research. So we cannot bring in our personal biases or conflict there and recruit anyone and everyone and conduct the research. So that is one of the first point that even ICMR is highlighting. Then second is the principle of essentiality. So only if it is essential to involve human participation in a like a biomedical research or a clinical research, you should go for it. Otherwise, if it is not necessary, if the human participation, without human participation also, the research can be done. In such cases, the involvement is not required, because we are doing some research and it can have some negative impacts also on that participant or people who are taking part in your research with their consent. So that is why only if it is essential, we should involve or go for a human participation. So what is principle of beneficence? Anyone tell me? Principle of beneficence? Clear information? No. Any idea about principle of beneficence? Okay, so it is nothing but the researcher or the whole team, the research team should work on minimizing the risk. So, and it should be beneficial for the risk for the participants, as well as the outcome of the risk for the research should be beneficial for the society. So these are the two aspects we discuss usually under the principle of beneficence. So risk minimize the the benefit to the individuals and the society at a large, as well as it should also be equally distributed. There has to be equal distribution as well. That becomes another principle. These principles are also interconnected. Then principle of non-maleficence is the risk minimization related principle. So there is the researcher, the PI, the COIs, the RAs, and everyone involved in the research. And also in most of the clinical researches, there is also a ethical committee involved. So the institute specific or the region specific ethical committees are also in place as per the ICMR guidelines. So they should also ensure that that all necessary steps are taken to minimize the risk to the participants. So that also becomes very important. Then principle of voluntariness. Any idea what is principle of voluntariness? This is nothing but we are talking about, yes, the principle of maleficence is also talking about it is no harm or minimal risk to the participants. So now principle of voluntariness is the next principle, which basically talks about the consent aspect. So now the human participants, whosoever is taking part in the research, is having complete freedom to be part of the research, or they can also opt out at any time. So that should be allowed is something which the principle says, and also this is based on the voluntary consent. So now this is again discussed under the issues and concerns. Again, I'll be discussing about this in the next slide, because we don't know how to take the consent in many of the times. So now sometimes we influence the people, we discuss with them in such a way that they'll have to give the consent. So or else we will try to influence them through maybe telling them that we are giving them the treatment free of cost, or some other incentives we will offer and try to convince them. So it should not be happening that way. It should be a voluntary consent. Without, it should not be coming out of any kind of coercion or any kind of misrepresentation, misunderstanding, etc. But it should be a informed consent based on their information, clear information and ideas, and out of voluntariness. It should not be a forced one. And in case of the vulnerable population, so basically if the research involves children as participants, or maybe the research involves some other vulnerable population, so whatever is required in that cases should also be taken care of. So in case of children, there has to be the consent from the parents or the legal guardian of the child. And also if the child is in a position to understand whatever is the research and how this will be involving him, and what are the outcomes or the negative effects, or any small negative effect also should be discussed. And if the child is in a position to understand all this should be explained to the child also. Then the next principle is principle of ensuring privacy and confidentiality, something which ICMR says. Again, this becomes very difficult when we are working in a team, and also when we are tending to record things in the internet, like connected devices, or maybe in a system or any other platform where we are connected to internet, because now data infringement and data like threat related issues are growing day by day. So that becomes another issue, and maintaining confidentiality of the subjects and also the data becomes one of the important aspects of the research wherever the human participants are involved. So now in India, we also don't have a clear cut recently we came up with the DPDP Act, Data Protection Act, but again our rules are not in place, so still we don't have clarity as to how we are going to implement it. So once this is being implemented, once the rules are notified, only after that we will get some clarity as to what are our responsibilities, and what kind of an approach government is coming with reference to the implementation of the Data Protection Act. So now next is the principle of transparency and accountability. So wherever the research involves the funding from external agencies, etc., there has to be transparency as to the utilization of fund. And also after completing the research, wherever confidentiality needs to be maintained or privacy needs to be taken care of, that should be taken care of. But rest of the things, including the outcome of the research, should be used for the benefit of the people, and there has to be a transparency maintained in that aspect. And principle of environmental protection, that becomes one of the important concern, because sustainability is something which is one of the core principle whenever we are conducting a research. So now we know that the outcome, the negative impacts of all innovations and technical innovations, whatever we had in the past time. So now we are struggling to do away with plastic, and the kind of pollution and the challenges thrown by all these innovations innovations, because we're struggling to bring that balance. So now sustainability is something which everyone should keep in mind when we are working on any kind of research, and we should also go for the risk assessment, like what could be the outcome if this product is being like brought and it is like being used by the people. What kind of an impact it will have on the environment is something which we need to assess before like coming up with such innovations, and we should have a proper plan in place to compensate that also. So these are the major principles. There are many more mentioned in the guidelines. So whatever is relevant for our discussion, I just took them from the guidelines. So now ethical principle in research and innovation, there has to be a human centric approach. So now technology should serve the human welfare, not replace or exploit humans. So now again, the one thread or one what to say dilemma which is thrown by the technology or all these research is that we are even today we are discussing around whether this technology or AI tools are going to replace humans. So now there will be huge what to say unemployment or all such issues we will face is something which some part of the people are saying. Other part is saying that though there is AI, they cannot work without human intervention. But again, one thing that we need to appreciate, like acknowledge, is that when there is AI driven technology which is employed in maybe various works or workspaces, then it will obviously reduce the number of human which is required for the such kind of work. So that becomes again a social issue in every country. So that is something which we need to look into and try to bring a balance there as well. And it should not be like something which will be exploiting the human. Instead, it should be something will provide for the welfare of the human. So which again becomes the basis of our constitution or the key principle of the constitution. So that is something which we need to look into. Then safety and risk minimization is something which we already discussed in the previous slide also. So now avoid harm in the product testing, the AI deployment, robotics or infrastructure, etc. So now robotics, we know that the robotics is also something which is used everywhere. Now you will see robots serving food in restaurants, robots conducting the surgeries. So now almost every hospital you will see that the advertisements are coming every day saying that robotic surgery and robot like intervention in multiple other treatments and diagnosis, etc. So now, like again, one issue that when we are talking about the robotic surgeries and involvement of AI based system, one issue that we are facing is that, like in case if it malfunctions, if there are any issues happens while performing the surgery or doing the treatment, then who will be held responsible? So now in India, like the medical negligence cases are at height. It is showing an upward trend. We have many cases coming up day by day. So now you have someone to be held responsible for whenever there is something goes wrong. So when there is a robotic intervention and robot is performing the surgery, again this is some ethical dilemma that we are having, like who will take the responsibility. And next thing is that, like recently I was just reading previous news reports and all, and I found that when this robotic surgery and all, when they introduced it and people started using it in the initial period, like maybe 2015, around that time, 10 years back, there were multiple deaths which were connected to the malfunctioning of the robots in USA alone. So around 144 deaths and 1,000 plus injuries were reported in BBC in relation to the malfunctioning of robots. So these are all issues that we should be concentrating on when we are doing or working on such kind of research and developing such kind of tools, and how told, this is another threat that we are having. And with the recent judgment of the Just a minute. My internet connection is showing us unstable. Just back. Is my slide visible now also?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
It's okay. We could hear you.
Slide is visible, ma'am?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay, I can't see the slide now.
It's not moving, ma'am. It's in the fifth slide.
Just a minute now. Okay, ma'am. So I'm finding some difficulty. I think
In sharing, do you find any difficulty in sharing, ma'am?
not in sharing, ma'am.
Now it started sharing, ma'am. Kindly move the slide.
I hope it is
Yeah,
visible.
now it's moving, ma'am. Now it's moving.
It's fine, it's fine.
Okay. So
It's
now actually the slide was not saved, I think. So I missed the portions, whatever I mentioned in it. That's fine, ma'am. I will discuss like that only. Just a minute. Okay, so I'll just copy paste the points. So if I'm not wrong, we were in which point? Can anyone tell me?
ethical principles in research and innovation. I think the second one.
Second one was
Slide heading is ethical principles in research and innovation.
okay. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so now I think I was talking about the risk benefit assessment.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Informed consent is done, and I was talking about the risk benefit assessment. So I will just put these points as and when I'm discussing it, because safety and risk minimization was something which I was discussing. So then I'll just keep posting that in the chat box so that we can so have a track of it what I'm discussing. So basically, I was saying that the like avoid harm in product testing. So whenever we are trying to develop a software, we should also keep all these aspects in mind. So I was trying to connect it with the privacy and data protection was something which I was talking about. So now there was this judgment, recent judgment of Puttaswamy versus Union of India. So this is the Aadhaar case. It was a very famous judgment. So now when the constitution came into existence, since then, like 1950 onwards, we had a lot of discussion in and around right to privacy. And initially, the court said that the privacy is not like part of Article 21, or it's not a fundamental right. But multiple judgments, they kept contradicting it, and finally with the Puttaswamy judgment, like we got clarity, and they said that the privacy becomes one of the fundamental rights. So now, like one, what to say, the like argument that the researchers might have is in relation to the guidelines, because people might say that there is no like binding legislation or a document when it comes to research or ethics, etc. Or whatever we have is maybe something which is issued by the ICMR like institutions, which is a statutory body. So this is just a guideline which is not binding on us, and even if we don't follow it, people like there is nothing can happen, we are safe fully. It's not like that. So now one thing that we need to understand and appreciate is that the courts are very clear. The court said that people are having a right to privacy also, which is again part of your right to life and personal liberty. So now when somebody is infringing, they are taking your data, now it is the responsibility of the researcher to maintain that confidentiality, and especially when the data is sensitive, it should be like handled with utmost care. So if any data breach happens, this will put you in trouble. So people can even go to directly to the Supreme Court and challenge it by saying that the right to privacy is infringed, because it's a fundamental right. The law allows them to directly approach the High Court and Supreme Court also. So that's why it is of very importance, great importance. Whenever we are dealing with human participants in a research, the data should be protected properly, even if there are no legally binding documents which says that it has to be done in relation to research, because researchers will only look into those guidelines and aspects, and like what maximum what will happen, the institution might take some action against you, they can suspend you or they can punish you based on whatever like limit that they have. But it's not the case. The participants can also take you to the court if you're not following the principles, like especially something which is related to the privacy and the data protection related aspects. The next one is, as I said, sustainability. So now, what is sustainability? Can anyone tell me what is sustainability? So I will tell you, now we are discussing the ethical principles in technological research. So we already discussed what is the ethical principles involving the research in the basically the research which involves human participants. Now we are discussing the ethical principles in technological research. Can anyone tell me what is sustainability? What do you mean by sustainability? Environment and economy balance. Okay. So can you like elaborate on environment and economy balance, ma'am? Yes, sir. That's a correct explanation. Meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. So now we have to meet our needs by keeping in mind that we have to also preserve the resources for the future generations, so they also should be allowed to use it. So now sustainability, why it is important, why we are connecting it with every aspect including research, is because research leads to the outcome of the research can be like, of course it is going to be some developments and it is for the betterment of the society only, but it might also have some negative impacts which also can be something which will affect the environment also. So now when as a researcher we should keep that also in mind and see to it that our outcome will have, there is a balance between both. So it is the benefit of for the society is more than whatever impact this will have on the environment or whatever negative impacts this will have. So that is something which we need to keep in mind. So now we know we talk about nanotechnology, we talk about space exploration. All these aspects are also having the negative impacts, right? Space exploration is leading to space debris. So that becomes another challenge. A lot of like waste is accumulated in space now. That is another challenge that we are facing. Other researchers and the whatever so whatever innovations that we had, which also led to like all of our industries, the invention of plastic, all these things are also contributing to the what to say the environmental pollution. And now we are facing climate change. Now we know that what level of climate change and issues that we are facing, it is impacting every human beings, as well as like more impact is on the vulnerable sections also. So now it is impacting our crop, our cultivation, our production. It is impacting all other what to say aspects of our life also. So now this becomes very difficult, and if it is happening this way, we know about the global warming, the melting of glaciers, like sea level rise, that is another threat that we are facing now, and saltwater ingress to the like groundwater, which is impacting the crop, and it is like contaminating the groundwater also. These are all outcome of climate change, and in a way the pollution is also leading to or it is boosting the climate change. So now that is why the innovators or the people who are working in technological innovation should keep this also in mind. Equity and access is another thing that we should be keeping in mind, that the innovation should not deepen the divides. Means it should be equally accessible to everyone. It should not be for a specific set of people. So there should not be rich versus poor kind of a divide, or a rural or a geographical based divide, etc. It should be like for everyone, every human in the earth is something which equity, and with equity and access I wanted to say. So I'll just post this also in the chat box. And the next principle is the accountability and transparency. So now this is also something which I already explained. So now we should be accountable for, there has to be accountability, which is it should be there for whatever research that you are doing, and also the outcome of the research. And the process should be transparent when it comes to the fund allocation, the utilization of fund, and also like initially as we said that it should be for the benefit of the society, and there has to be a proper dissemination of that knowledge happening if it is for the purpose of the benefit of the society. And again, another thing that you should keep in mind is about the dual use and misuse concerns. So now we know that there are multiple challenges which are thrown by all these like innovations, whatever is happening now. So now for example, like the AI, the like recently AI has become talk of the town. Everyone is talking about it. The kind of challenges that AI is throwing is that one issue that we recently faced about the deep fake. So that is something which how to address this issue. That becomes very, very difficult. Next thing is that every academia is completely dependent on AI tools now. So if you ask your students to do anything, if you ask them to do a project, everything is ChatGPT created or Grok created, or whatever AI platforms, Perplexity, or whatever platforms are available. They're using all these platforms for content creation. So now the issue is that it's kind of an ignorance. We don't know how to use these platforms. That is something which is raising this concern actually. So now ChatGPT is a very beautiful platform, AI platform, which can be used for doing research. So you can create codes using ChatGPT. You can go for data analysis using ChatGPT. And codes can be created. These codes can be placed in another AI platform, which is called as Draw AI. And you can create beautiful flow charts. So you can use this for summarizing your research. You can show the research flow by using this platform. But instead of this, the students or everyone is using these platforms only for creating their content. So this becomes problematic because we don't know how to utilize these platforms in a proper way. So now this is actually misuse that everyone is doing. In addition to that, there are multiple other issues like concerns also with reference to innovation. So technological innovations where in relation to war like field, and also when we have the AI enabled like equipments used in warfare. So now that also can be misused. So these are all things that actually raises a lot of concerns, and how to address it is something which the researcher should have in mind while working on these kind of technologies or the innovations. So now this is an answer which the researcher only can give us. So that is something which, that's why the researcher should always be careful about this. Someone is asking me to share the slide. Ma'am, actually the slide is having some issue. I'm really very sorry for that. After this session, I will like rework on the slide and send it to you. So now the key concerns in relation to, what are the key concerns in relation to the innovation and the research. So now it can be like, as I highlighted a lot of issues. Now the main issues are in relation to the consent. We don't know how to take the consent, or like we don't know to whom to approach for consent. So many people are ignorant as to what is an informed consent. So we don't even utilize that much of time with the participants to explain them about the research, its associated risks, why we want them to be part of the research, what are the benefits that they'll be getting if they're part of it, what can be those risks which are associated with this research, etc., etc. So now only after explaining all these aspects, you can say that you are taking an informed consent. You should never ever lie to the, or keep things in what to say, like keep them in dark and get the consent and make them be participant in your research. That is a wrong approach, which is again a ethical consent. You should know how to take the consent, and it should always be a written consent whenever you are involving human participants in your research. Whatever guideline you are following, be it ICMR, be it any other statutory authorities regulation or guideline, they'll also have the attachments as to, or explanations as to how the consent should be taken. Follow that, or else whatever your ethical committee is telling, if it is an institution based research, whatever the institutional policy is telling, follow that and take the consent in the same way. Then the next concern is again the risk benefit assessment. So this is something which again we should be doing before we start with our research, and ensure that your benefit outweigh the physical, psychological, social, or legal risk associated with the research. Only if you're sure that the benefit is more than the risk associated with the same, you should proceed further with your research. Vulnerable participants, whenever they are involved in the research, so you should give utmost care to the participants. Otherwise, it will lead to issues. So again, the human dignity, whatever we discussed, the participant safety, all these things should be kept in mind while conducting the research. Then compensation and ancillary care is another issue or concern which is raised in the field. So now, whenever there are some risk associated with the research, and the participant is being exposed to some kind of harm, in that case, it has to be compensated properly. Like whatever discussion you had with the participant, or whatever your policy or the norms of the university suggest, or the organization suggest, that way this has to be compensated. So that is another concern which is a growing concern that we see in the area, the field of research sometime. The next concern is about the conflict of interest. So we get to see that sometime the PIs and the co-investigators and all, they'll have their personal interest when it comes to the appointment of the research staff, or when there is a fund like a distribution or allocation for their like research or ask the remuneration. So these things should not happen. And also the ethical committee members. So if any of the members, relative or anyone is appearing before the ethical committee and presenting an idea, they should keep this in mind that they like shouldn't be taking part in that particular discussion. They should declare conflict and keep them away from that research. And also when you are involving yourself in selection of staff and all, your personal biases or you should not give preference to your people, your non-people or anything. It should be based on the required qualification and whatever is like apt for that particular research. So the person should be selected based on the qualification, not based on our like a relation with the person, or the person is your student or somebody who is known to you, or etc. Then deception in research. So this is again something which is allowed in some kind of research where the personal biases might affect your data. So now in that cases, you can deviate from the actual information and maybe keep the participants in dark for some time, but which should be minimal. It should not be something which will adversely affect them or harm them or anything. But if it is something which is not very harmful, in such cases, you can also without giving them proper clarity, also conduct the research. If you think that if you give that clarity, that will affect the research and the participants will give a biased what is the result. But later on, this has to be debriefed to the participants. So that is something which is very important. Then the right to withdraw is another thing. So right to withdraw is again the right of the participant. So the consent can be withdrawn by the participant at any time. So it is, so now like, and when I connect it with the legal field also, so now the courts are talking about the bodily autonomy of a person. So now it is something which only the person can decide what he wants to do. So, like if I want to make it little more clear to you, there was a time when people wants to go for an abortion, basically. So that time, the doctors asked for the consent of the husband. But now that is also not like required, because the courts are saying that now it is only the woman who will decide whether she wants to continue with the pregnancy or not. It is a bodily autonomy. No one else can say that no, you have to continue with the pregnancy and you have to give birth to the child. So now only thing is that it is like with reference to, or it should be in consonance with whatever is mentioned in the Termination of Pregnancy Act. There is Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, MTP Act. If the act and its provisions allows, only the female's consent is required. You don't have to even ask the husband, is something which the courts are saying. So now, same principle if we apply in this scenario, it is the right of the participant. If you want to discontinue from the research, he should be allowed to do that. You cannot enforce the participant to continue in the research. It's something which the guideline says. So now they should be also allowed to leave the research without any penalty if it is possible. If it is a funded research and you are not at any loss or anything, then if the participant is willing to withdraw, you should allow the participant to do that. The last point in connection to the main heading, ethical concerns in research and innovation, is about the research misconduct. So this is something which I'll be discussing later on in little detail also. So research misconduct is all about fabrication of the data, falsification, plagiarism, etc. So now these are all things which are not allowed in the research. Authorship related issues. So person is not writing or not being part of the research, but still his name is kept. So these are all ethical concerns we find in academic research and publication. So these are all again concerns in the research and innovation. So now in addition to that, we also have the concerns in relation to the privacy and the confidentiality of the data also. So I told you that when we are collecting, so this is again a very important principle in every kind of research, where we'll have to keep the privacy and confidentiality. We have to maintain the privacy and confidentiality of the data. So now wherever it is not happening, that is problematic. So in cases where the data is infringed, or if there is a leak of such data, then that becomes very problematic, because as I said, privacy becomes a fundamental right. The party can also take you to the court. So every data, especially the sensitive data, should be taken care of properly. In case if it is collected through in a soft copy form, or if it is like preserved in a device which is connected to the internet, etc., you should provide utmost care as to the protection of the data. So now let us come to the academic research, because I know that everyone here is the people who are working in academics and who are with academics. So I will just share the slide again, which is again talking about the issues that we face in the academics when it comes to the publication and the research. So now some of the issues are, I'll just take you to the slide which is on unethical practices only, the issues and concerns only. So the first issue that we are facing in the academia is in relation to plagiarism. So I'm sure that many of you here in this platform knows what is plagiarism. So is there anyone interested in telling me what exactly is plagiarism? And we also have an anti-plagiarism rules issued by the UGC, which we are expected to follow in the academia. So can anyone tell me? Anyone wants to take a few minutes to tell what is the plagiarism? Using others' idea without acknowledging it. Very good. So how to avoid this? Unethical use of others' work. Correct. So how do you avoid this plagiarism or related issues? And why do people plagiarize? Why do people plagiarize? Any idea? Referencing, take consent. Okay. Okay, so plagiarism is a huge issue that we are facing in the academia now. Someone is telling that they are lazy. Okay. The first and foremost point that I would like to highlight is that mainly when we talk about the students, basically the UG students and all, they don't know how to do research. So now when they join the campuses, we will give them the assignments, maybe a research article, research projects, etc. And it is easy way to complete is someone else is saying. So now, yes, it is one of the easiest way to do it. But some in maximum cases, they don't do it deliberately also. Sometimes it is because of their ignorance. They don't know how to do a research. And our academia is somewhere failing to train them on how to do research in the initial years. So even if we have a research methodology session which is happening, that happens maybe by the end of their year, or when they will be doing their PG courses. So in the UG, we never train them as to how to do a research. That becomes very problematic, because they are people who doesn't know how to do research, and according to them, it is something which compilation of the ideas. Even today, if I talk about the legal academia, majority of the people believe in the doctrinal kind of research. So they don't go for a empirical research or the research which involves human participants, and they don't go for a field study kind of a research. So now their idea is that it is just compilation of details or whatever information is there in the existing already published documents. So if I connect it with my own field, it is the judgment, the statutes or the legislations which are in place, and also the secondary sources they refer. They copy paste things and they try to maybe paraphrase it and they submit. So now they don't know how to do it. Second, they don't know the importance of citation. So this is something which again we are not orienting them in with the initial years itself when we are giving them that kind of an assignment. So to avoid plagiarism or contents like copy pasted items in our submissions, as faculties or as the mentors of those students, we have to set our rules from the first day itself. So when we are giving assignments to them, we can take 1 hour session at least to explain them what do we expect from them. We can tell them how to do it. I am sure that we cannot teach them how to do a research in 1 day session. Maybe we can ask them to watch some videos, promote them to enroll for some research like methodology courses, or we can also give briefly, make them understand how to proceed further and do it. So what I do in my organization is that I always promote them to use the library resources. I also teach them like how to use a software for their citation purposes. I also tell them how to cite. I also tell them how to do the literature review. And I briefly explain them how to do the assignment in short. And I also issue a guideline on how to do the research with all the points, what all things I expect, and the word limit, the formatting criteria, and also the evaluation criteria is given as a rubrics in the guideline, so that they'll get clarity, and whatever doubts they have, I always ask them to come and meet me and discuss it with me. So this is something which we can do. In our university also, like few streams are offering research methodology sessions or training in the first years, like the first few years, but otherwise they don't undergo any RM training till they reach the final year, that is the 5th year. So now this becomes problematic because the throughout the journey till the final year, they will be copy pasting from here and there and doing it. So now their life has become more easy with the invention of these AI based platforms. So now the content is also created using those platforms. So now what I do here is that I have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to AI, because we all know that none of the regulatory bodies have come up with any guideline as to the use of AI now, as of now. So UGC is also silent, and also I don't think that AICTE or any other body is talking about NMC or any other regulatory body is talking about the like AI regulation as of now. But we know that as far as the plagiarism is concerned, UGC has a 10% criteria. So we also follow that. We give this criteria to them, we announce it to them, so that they'll not be doing maybe repeating, because they know they lose marks if they do it. So it can be trained, or we can inculcate this practice from the beginning itself, from the first year itself. That is one thing that we can do. So it has become a growing concern now. So now next thing is that whatever, like if we have to copy paste some part from a like maybe judgment, so it is something which mostly like law people are doing. They want to produce the judgment one part as it is verbatim, they want to copy paste, or a provision they want to do it. So now usually in research papers and all, the provisions and all, we don't copy paste it, it will go to the footnote parts. Or else if you are copy pasting some judgment or some parts from the judgment, you should put it in the quotation mark. So when the plagiarism check is done, this part will get excluded from considering as the similarity. So that is one thing that you can do. And proper citation. So if you cite, actually there are multiple benefits when you cite your work. One is that your work become like what to say, it is free from plagiarism, because you are taking ideas, or you are taking some part or some data or details from any published work. It can be a book, it can be a journal publication, it can be a website, or it can be some documentary, whatever it is. If you cite it properly, that like in such case the plagiarism or similarity related issues can be avoided. Second thing that you need to keep in mind is that always write it in your own words. Don't copy paste and paraphrase. Try to paraphrase. Instead, you read it, type and keep your documents ready, and when you are trying to compile them and doing them, you can arrange them, rearrange them, whatever way you want to do it. You can again edit them or to make sense to whatever work you are doing. So you can play with it, but you shouldn't be copy pasting them and again trying to paraphrase it. That is a wrong way of doing it. So now your own thoughts, your own analysis also will come into picture when you are doing it in this way. You read, you understand, you recreate. You will not copy paste. And the next thing is that when you publish your work, the people will like, there will be more visibility of this work because you have done a research in a proper way. So you're citing people, and more the citation it is, the work is more reliable is something which the academia believes. But still, only if you are referring to the work, then only you have to cite. Just because somebody is telling that you should have number of citations in work, you need not unnecessarily put a lot of citations in your work. Only if you are referring to those works, you can cite them. That will actually help you like avoid the plagiarism, also increase the visibility of your work also, because it becomes an authentic work. Credibility of the work is also will get increased. So now that is one thing. So to avoid plagiarism and cite your work, one platform like I would recommend everyone. So in almost every sessions that I take, I tell people to learn one software which is useful for maybe citing your work and also for doing the research. Many of you might be knowing it also. I can see that many participants here are maybe faculties and people with doctorate also. So now one such platform is Zotero. Zotero is a platform where you can use it for research and citation. But I don't use Zotero. I did not find it as user friendly as the software called Mendeley. Mendeley is a very nice software that I feel that every researcher should know. I'll also, if time permits, show you how the Mendeley works. So now it's a software where you can have like create folders and save all your. So this is a free software and it is provided by the Elsevier. Elsevier is the Scopus like publisher which maintains your Scopus database also. So you have a lot of open resources available in their website also, the Mendeley also, the Elsevier also. So what you can do is you can have create your account. You can also install the desktop app in your system. You can create folders and save your literatures whenever you start your research and do the literature survey. You can keep saving your work into the Mendeley folders. And the next benefit is that this platform can be used for collaborative research also. So you are not paying anything. It is once the cloud limit is over, you create different another account. That is not a big deal today, right? Everyone knows how to do all these things. So now you have to create the folder. You can share this folder with multiple other members of your research team so that all of you can work together at a time also. You can annotate, you can have your own notes in that, and also this platform can be used for citing your work. The benefit is that when we are writing, when we are working on a like article or a research project or whatever it is, we are submitting our article to one journal and the journal is rejecting it, maybe due to some XYZ reasons. It can be quality, it can be it is out of scope of the research, whatever it is. So now this platform will allow you to like change your citation style with one click. You don't have to manually do it. You don't need to learn every citation style also. So this platform has almost every type of citation style available in it, except maybe Blue Book, etc., which is like the legal citation style. Otherwise, Oscola or APA or MLA, Chicago, Vancouver, all these citation styles are available in the Mendeley, and it's a very beautiful platform. I've been using it since almost like 9 to 10 years now, and till now, like even after completing around 12 researches in past 5 years, I was using this platform for every kind of work. Still, my account is active only. I have never faced any kind of issue. So I would recommend every participant, if possible, like go for the Mendeley. So now I'll just I will, madam. I'll share the link only. You can. I'll also show you the what to say, how to use this platform also. Before that, I'll just finish our research, our discussion. So now the next unethical issue that we come across in the research is the biasness in research. So now when this biasness is all about your approach when we are like I'm right now talking about a social science research where you have the participants, human participants involved, or you are working on a area where you already have a biased approach. So now, for example, like last time also I might have given this example only, like I am somebody who is working on a research where I want to understand why there is a declination of female workforce participation in India. So now I am a feminist. I have some kind of belief that I believe that the patriarchal system is the root cause of like lesser participation of female in workforce in India. So now I am working around this only because my understanding is that, and I am believing in this. And when I am starting to work on this area, my objectives, my methodology, my questionnaire, everything is going to be, it will reflect that biasness. So as a researcher, we shouldn't be doing that. We should approach the topic with a neutral mindset, and instead of having biased questions or leading questions or having a biased objective or hypothesis, I should be looking at the topic with a neutral mindset. So I will only say that I want to understand what are the causes or what are the reasons because of which there is a declination of participation of female in the economic force or the workforce in India. I cannot say that, like I cannot have questions which will ask the participant or objective which will tell that to understand whether patriarchy is contributing to the declination of the participation of women in, or I'm keeping these kind of leading questions in my questionnaire to confuse the participants and get a data which is in favor of my research. So this is something which we shouldn't be doing. So this is something which comes with the experience only. Like after doing some research only, we will be free from any kind of what do you call the okay, all these explanations also were there. I'm really sorry. I could not show you this. I'll share the slides anyway. So we should approach the topic with basically what I'm trying to say is that we should approach the topic with a unbiased mind and try to find out what exactly is the reason for declination of participation, instead of telling that this is the reason, or instead of trying and getting this is the spelling of Metley, getting the result whatever I would want to have in my research. So that is not a right approach. Then fabrication is creating false data. So when I'm going to the field, I want to, like I am with a biased mind I am approaching. First of all, my understanding is that patriarchy is the reason. Maybe husbands or family is not ready to let the women work, or she is with a lot of household responsibilities, or she is the one who is taking care of the child. That is the reason that she is not able to work, or there is no support from the family. So these are all things in my mind, and I am going to the field and maybe collecting the data, and I found that this is not the data that I am receiving, because they have their own reasons for not taking part. It is patriarchy doesn't have anything to do with it. So now I'm adjusting the data to match to my hypothesis or my whatever result I want to see in the research. So now another example can be, I want to do a research and understand whether the healthcare sector in Gujarat is accessible or not to the public. So what is the accessibility of the healthcare in Gujarat? So I have three different criteria or variables. One is gender, the other one is the financial abilities of people. Third one is the rural and the urban divide, the geographical limitations basically. So now when I'm looking at this topic, I am framing my hypothesis in such a way that I want to say that there are disparities in access when it comes to access to healthcare based on all these three criteria. But when I'm collecting the data, I found that there are equal number of very good distribution of hospitals and good infrastructure and human resources in health care facilities, public health care facilities, both in urban as well as the rural area. So now I had the biased mindset, or my approach was that I wanted to say that urban area is having more such facilities than the rural area, but that is the reality. We all know that. But hypothetically, I'm saying after the research, I found that there is no such difference. So now I cannot change the data and include false data to say that whatever I predicted is right. So that becomes an unethical practice. Similarly, falsification. The same only, it is more or less same only. It is the manipulating existing research data, materials or process to create a false impression. It is changing or omission of research results to support the claims, same, more or less same only, and hypothesis or other data, etc. So that is something which is again considered as a what to say, for unethical practice. So now salami slicing. So now salami slicing is when we use the data collected for one research and we slice it into different pieces and use them for the publication. So that is something which is again considered to be an unethical practice. So COPE defines salami slicing as the publication or attempted publication of whole or substantial part of work data analysis that have already been published or submitted elsewhere without transparency or appropriate declaration or referencing. So now I'm doing a project. ICSR is giving me a funding. I collected data for ICSSR and this project, and I submitted my the work to ICSSR, and I slice a part of the data or the work or whatever analysis is there, and without proper authentication, I am just publishing it for my own benefit. So that is considered to be another unethical practice. Duplicate publication. So this is again something which happens due to ignorance, and also the kind of pressure that we are facing in academia now, because we know that there is it's a sword that is hanging above our head, that publication. So every institute, every organization is pressurizing the faculty and the PhD scholars to come up with publications. Some of them are having norms in relation to Scopus publication or Web of Science publication. Someone says that even UGC or the peer-reviewed journal is fine. So now, because of this pressure that we undergo, what we do, like we don't get much time also, because all of us are multitasking in academia. There was a time where people chose academics just because it is a 9-to-5 job, but now it is no more a 9-to-5 job. It's very demanding nowadays. So now what we do, everyone is multitasking. We don't have time. Somehow we manage to write one research. So now all these corpus publications and all, they take a lot of time to even respond to your work once you will submit it. So the review process will take a lot of time. In addition to that, the sometimes, like, because of the kind of pressure that we are facing for a publication, we are left with any, like, and in addition to that, the scopus also look forward to empirical researches, which becomes again very difficult, because it's not possible for a working person who is taking maybe 16 to 19 hours of classes per week to maybe go to the ground, collect data, analyze, come up with a paper. So now what we do, we end up submitting the same paper to multiple journals. So that is again a unethical practice, which is not something which is what to say appreciated in academia or the research field. So when you do it, so now if one journal is accepting the publication and they are publishing it, there are chances that we also will forget that we also have submitted it to multiple other journals and they also will end up publishing it. So this will again create issues for us. So always keep this in mind. Don't do such things. Don't submit your one paper to multiple places, multiple journals for publication. This will lead to duplicate publication, and again that is considered to be an unethical practice. Next is copyright infringement. So anyone knows what is copyright? Anyone knows copyright? So this is a exclusive right which is granted to the
Permission from the first author.
No. So copyright is a right which is granted, an exclusive right which is granted to your intellectual property, which can be in a literary form or a musical form, cinematic form. So software, some of the softwares, and it is granted for 60 years. The lifetime of the author plus 60 years. So now when we are talking about copyright, again, this issue comes when there is a book. So there was a case of Delhi University where they were taking prints of some of the international publishers' books. It was Routledge, Taylor and Francis and all. Their books were Xerox copy of this book was they were selling it through the Xerox shop within the campus. This was challenged by the publishers before the court. While this case was going on, they withdrew from the case. The book company itself, they withdrew from the case saying that they want to have a good relation with the academic institutions and India. So they withdrew from the case. But otherwise, the copyright is with something which is granted to the publisher now. So when we go for the copy of this and we promote it inside the campus and it is sold to many people in a very lesser amount. So this is impacting the business of the person who is having the copyright. So that is something which is not allowed. So but otherwise for the academic purposes, this is allowed. So we need not worry about sharing a link of an article with somebody or a paid article with somebody. If people, students are not getting access to an article, downloading it and giving them, all those things will not attract the copyright related issue. But if it is done in a very huge manner and this will impact the business, in such cases it will be problematic. Then next issue that we are facing is in relation to the predatory journal in the publication field. So now this is something which many of the people are even today not aware of. Two issues that in relation to the journals that we are facing currently is predatory journal as well as cloned journal. Predatory journal is one which it is not a good authentic journal which will provide for as per your needs. They will provide you customized services. You shouldn't be going for such kind of publication after taking money from you. So this is something which you should be very careful about, because whenever we are planning to publish, you should first visit the journal web page. It is again not by searching in your search engine. So when you will search in your search engine, if there is a cloned page created in the name of the same journal, the search engine, they use such kind of an algorithm which will only show you the cloned journal page. So now again you will end up in a trap. So that is why you should always go to if it is a Scopus journal, go to the Scopus data sheet. So in the Scopus page, you can download the Excel sheet from where you will get the link to the Scopus page, or else in the Scopus website only you can look for the journals. use that platform to identify your journal, there are multiple options through which you can eliminate the unwanted journals and arrive at the journal category of journal or scope that you want to or you are looking forward to. So that is something which you should know. If it is a UGC care listed journal, and now UGC care list is, I think it is on hold for some time being. Otherwise, UGC also has their website. Go to that website, register yourself there. Use that one website to identify your journal. UGC gives you the link to the home page of the journal. Use that. If you go for so predatory journals are the journals which will tell you that you pay us this much of amount, we will publish in Scopus. If you pay this much, you will publish in Web of Science. If you pay this much, we will publish in other databases wherever it is like indexed. So that is something which you shouldn't be doing. Even if there is an article processing charge of the journal, go to the journal website and try to understand and find out whether it is a reliable journal or not, and also check the Scopus list to ensure that this journal is a reliable one, because Scopus, this Elsevier is reviewing the journals every 3 months, and as and when they find that a journal is not maintaining the standard or they are taking money and publishing etc., they'll throw the journal out. So the people who are taking money for the publication without giving importance to the quality of the paper, there are chances that they will be thrown out of the Scopus list very soon. So be careful while selecting your journal also. Then these are the points through which you can identify the journal which is predatory in nature. So there is no rigorous peer review which is in place. Then others can be like, they will keep emailing you for giving your paper. We will also think that, okay, it's a Scopus journal we will put, but their intention is to make money out of it. And there is no publication standards. So you should go to a good journal and compare. Maybe some journal which is published in Sage or any other such platform, and compare what are the standards that they are maintaining. And if a journal is telling that anything you write and give me, I'll publish and it will be indexed in Scopus, don't go for it. It's a predatory journal. And then they'll also give the misleading information as well. So now cross verify this with the platform which can be used for the same, and there will be high publication fee. The clone journal, again, I told a journal which is like they'll create the cloned picture of the original journal which is indexed in Scopus or ABDC or the Web of Science. And when you will search for with the journal name, it will give you the cloned page first. So the algorithm is made in such a way that the search engine will give you the cloned page first, and you will not identify that it is a cloned journal. So now in such cases, there are like a lot of journals we came across, because as a researcher in the beginning days, even I ended up publishing with the Scopus journal. That's why I'm telling you this. But again, this was through a conference, and they told us that it will be getting published in a like Chinese journal, and they, for the conference we were asked to pay the money. It was not for the publication. So I also did this, and ultimately this journal turned out to be a clone journal. When I checked because I had this doubt later on, when I went and checked it, initially the algorithm was only giving me the cloned page, whatever they created. Later on I checked it in Scopus page, and then when I went to the home page, I found that the article only publishes Chinese papers. And my paper was in English, and they took money and did that. So that is how I understood that it was a cloned journal. So then I tried learning this and finding out like how I can identify them. So now you have to also verify the editorial board when you are selecting the journal. So they can name any person and keep, maybe there is no person in that name is in existence. So you will have to go. So if it is a reliable journal, they'll give the name along with the designation and affiliation. So you can go to that page, and that person's university or whatever organization is affiliated with, and check for the like authenticity of the information, whatever is given. Once you're sure, then you can maybe consider publishing there. Otherwise, don't go for it. Then you can also check the archive and the previous issues to understand the quality. and also you verify the indexing with the Scopus page. In addition to that, almost in every client pages, they'll have a picture of UGC indexing, or they'll take this picture from the Scopus indexing and all. It is taken from the other journals main page. So the other journals, they reflect it in a different way. Here you will understand it is an image. So you will understand how they have given it. You can try comparing both and then find out whether it is a like unethical publication, sorry, a clone journal or not. So now I will like quickly take you to this Mendeley platform also. So this is all about the unethical practices or the concerns and issues in relation to the research that we are facing. So I'll just switch to my laptop and I will just take you to the Mendeley page. So now I'll share my screen so that you can see. I hope this page is visible.
No, ma'am. It says it started screen sharing. Yeah, it's opening now.
Okay, ma'am. So this is the Mendeley page. So now my account is already created. So I don't have to do anything. But when you are doing it, you have to go to Mendeley page and first create your account. Then you can see this is my library. So my Mendeley page looks like this. And when you are doing like looking for a literature for your research, I would always recommend go to your university's library. If you have data, online databases, only use those databases for the purpose of your research. But otherwise, when you like usually we go for a Google search. I'll just show you how to add the material to the Mendeley library. So you have to only do this one thing, that you go to the Mendeley page, create your account, then you will see this kind of a platform there. So my page, you can see all the materials because I've been using this since so long. So I've created so many folders here. You can see all these folders, I hope. So my cursor you can look at. I'm taking the cursor. So here you will see that multiple what to say folders are created. So these folders are having many materials also. So as and when I was doing some research, I kept adding things to the folders. See, all these folders are having multiple materials. So these are all materials that I added using the like I searched for material, and through this I added those materials. So health care as a on is something which I'm looking forward to. So my broad area of research is fundamental right to health. So now there is a journal article of the Indian medical issues in medical ethics. Now, when we are creating our account, you should also download the Mendeley app for your laptop or your desktop and install them into your laptop or desktop. So this is already installed in my desktop. So this is the Mendeley app that I am just opening now. So this is the Mendeley app. So this is synced with my cloud page, whatever I showed you before. So now here, there is an option of tools. This tools will give you the MS Word plugin that you have to install in your MS Word, and this will work only in the MS Word, which is 2016 version, and maybe after that. So like before, if it is before 2016, then it might not work. So you have to just check that. And also install web importer option is also there. So once you will install it into your system, you will have these two options. So install the web importer in your system. So that is, once you will do that, you will have this kind of a icon near to your ribbon. So now I want to add this to my Mendeley page. So I just click on that, and then this web importer will open, and I can add this to my library. So I keep doing this activity. So now this is a what do you call this? Is a PG test. Karke I have created a page when I was teaching the PG students. So I will just click on it. So now this will get added to my Mendeley page. So we will just check whether it has been added or not. So if you go to the view library, you will see that locate my PG test. So you can see that fundamental right to healthcare is something which is added already. So now when I want to read this, I can open it like this. This will be open here. I can read them. I can highlight using this highlighter which is here. Whatever part I want to highlight, I can do that also. I can also annotate whatever I want to write using this part. So I want to copy paste this part, and I want to maybe read it later on or work around this later on. I can copy paste. This will stay here if I copy, and somehow it is pasted now. I can also keep sticky note for my other researchers. If I'm creating this as a group research thing, I can like leave comments here, refer to this part. So this will be shown here. My other collaborators also will get to see this. So these are all things we can do with this one platform. So please try using this. It is very useful. So now add references. This option is also there where I can click, and if anything is downloaded in my system, I can use import files from the computer and go to the downloads part. See now I want to take this into my this page. It will get uploaded. So this can also be used. And this part towards the end, you will see create collection option. If you click on this, you can write your title and create your folder. So now ethics. I can click on this, and it will be saved as a folder now. See, ethics is reflected here. I don't have any material added. That's why it is empty. I can keep adding the materials. So now, similar way, here groups also can be created. My group limit has reached, so I cannot show it now. But you can also click on this create group and create the group, and go to manage group and invite people. So now you can see, so multiple people name is shown here. So we were all together in this research, working at the same time on the this particular research. So now Bhavinija, Kanika, Pooja, all these people work with me on a particular research. So faculty seed grant is the folder. You will also see all the materials here. This is how you use this platform. So now the next aspect I'll show you how we will cite a work. So now I am opening a Word file. I'll copy paste whatever we took from the other article here. And the article name was something related to the right to health and fundamental right? So now in my this desktop app, I have to sync them. So now I will click on the sync button, and also in the here also there is a sync option which is there. This also I click and both will get synced. And the material that I added in the cloud was fundamental right to healthcare. So it was advisor is something which is written there. So I want to cite it. I will go to, because in my Word, the Mendeley is installed already. I have this one icon and option here. So I'll click on insert citation. Fundamental right to health is the title of the paper. So now see fundamental right to health. Healthcare is something which we can see here, right? So now I'll click on this and okay. This work is cited. It is taking time. So now you can see that now it is Harvard referencing style. So they cited it like this. And for Harvard, like towards the end, I get the references. If I go for insert bibliography, so it is cited like this. So now I don't want to continue with the Harvard referencing style. I want Scholar. I click on this because it's a law paper. So now I click on that. See, we can see this footnote which is inserted. Now I am submitting this paper to maybe another journal which requires APA as the citation style. I again change this. So now see the citation style. I hope everyone can see this. It is changed and again the citation is not here. I have to do insert bibliography. It will provide me the citation style. Here it is changed already, right? It is changed already. So this is how you can use this platform for doing your research also, and also for collaborating with others, as well as for citing your work. So it has all different citation styles. If you need more styles, you can click on more styles option. It will provide you all the different styles here. And you can also search for more styles by clicking on the get more style option, and then you can add them to your list and use them. So that is how this platform works, and it is actually very helpful for every researcher. I would recommend everyone to maybe like try and look at it. If you are finding it very difficult to maybe use this platform, you can also, like, there are a lot of tutorials available on this in the other platforms as well. So maybe you can go for that. So thank you so much. That is all about the session. If you have anything to discuss, you can ask me. You can put it in the chat box.
Dear participants, if you have any questions, there is a question for you. Plagiarism and copyright infringement are same in research. Please explain the case study of Dr. Shino P. Jose, Assam University.
Where it is?
Ma'am, in Q&A box.
Okay. So plagiarism and copyright infringement are not same, sir, because plagiarism, like you are copying someone else's work maybe without acknowledging it. But whereas in copyright infringement, you're infringing a right which is a punishable, what to say, wrong. Actually, it's not offense. I cannot use the term offense. It's a punishable wrong. So if somebody is challenging, the one who is having the copyright is challenging, the person can get a compensation for that. But whereas in plagiarism, we only follow the UGC guideline. So as per the UGC guideline, the punishment which UGC guideline prescribes is, like, for the students, we will ask them to rework it. We'll give them some time and ask them to rework it. But whereas in case of faculties, there are certain punishments, like we will not let them become the supervisor of PhD scholars, and the increment or the promotion is maybe kept on hold. All these kind of, and there are instances where the vice chancellors also lost their positions because of the plagiarism related issue. We have multiple such cases. So that's why there is different. They both are not same. So copyright is a right which is exclusively granted to the author or the owner of a literary artistic work, and which is based on the Copyright Act. So it's a legal right which is granted, whereas plagiarism, we like knowingly or unknowingly uses someone else's work, maybe without giving proper credit to the person, which is not considered to be a wrong and which is punishable before the court of law that way. So it's not enforceable in case of plagiarism, but in copyright, it is an enforceable thing.
Somebody,
other questions?
Soumya, Dr. Soumya has asked, is styling format change available in MS Word?
Styling format change means, ma'am? What do you mean by?
APA, she is mentioning APA, MLA.
Ma'am, that is the inbuilt system in the, I think the MS Word you are referring to. So I don't think there are multiple options available in your MS Word. So whatever is there for already in the Word, only that will be available. You cannot add more as per my knowledge. But whereas in Mendeley, you can have multiple such options.
Any other questions? Ma'am, as per UGC guidelines, punishment is given for both student and mentor. The question is asked.
No, UGC, as per the UGC guideline, the students are given time. So their submission will not be accepted by us. They'll be asked to resubmit it. So for every, like there is criteria with reference to the percentage. So if it is above 10% up to some limit, they'll give them some time and ask them to resubmit it. And we also check the plagiarism in Turnitin, or now the Inflipnet is providing Drillbit as one of the software which is used for checking the, that is again a UGC mandate. So now we will check it, and based on the amount of similarity, we will give them time to resubmit it. We will not accept it. Whereas in case of faculties, based on again the amount of plagiarism, their promotion is withheld, then also they'll not be allowed to be supervisor for supervising any PhD scholars. That is the criteria.
In case of scientific research, we used to publish in vitro studies separately, and after that, used to publish in vitro work. Is it also unethical?
What is, like, if you can explain what exactly is this? I am also a social science person. What is in vitro work?
Chitra ma'am. Chitra ma'am. Animal studies in vivo.
Okay. And ma'am, what is the question?
In case of scientific research, we used to publish in vivo studies separately, and after that, used to publish in vivo work. Is it also unethical?
So, like, is this in vivo study part of your research? Ma'am, I cannot give a like answer like that, because it depends on what kind of a guideline based on which you are working on. Like all these things plays a very important role. It's not just whatever like I discussed now. Salami slicing is something which asks for the social science research actually. So this is a criteria which is discussed in the UGC ethical what to say syllabus also. So that is for the social science research, but about the actual scientific research, I don't think there is some issue, but it again depends on what kind of a research you are doing and what guideline is governing your work also.
Ma'am, so I think all the questions has been answered. So any other question?
Thank you everyone for the patient
Thank you.
hearing.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I am really very sorry for the slide related issue. So I'll rectify it and send it to you, ma'am, tomorrow so that you can share it across with the participants.
Yeah, sure, ma'am, sure. We sincerely thank our esteemed resource person, Dr. Danya, Assistant Professor of Law at Gujarat National Law University. Dr. Danya guided us through the ethical principles, ethical concerns, and common unethical practices in research, innovation, and publication, helping us reflect on the importance of integrity in academia. She also gave us a practical introduction to the softwares used for research citations, which will certainly be of great value to all participants in ensuring accuracy and credibility in their scholarly work. Your expertise, clarity, and practical insights have added immense value to our FDPs, and the participants truly benefited from your session. On behalf of the organizers and all participants, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to you, Dr. Danya, for your time, effort, and meaningful contribution. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, ma'am. It was a great interaction.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Rajula, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye, ma'am. I'll stay in touch with you. Bye, Smiley, ma'am.